Architects are responsible for designing buildings and structures that are both functional and aesthetically pleasing. But to do that successfully, we need to possess a variety of skills. But what are the essential skills that an architect needs to be successful in their career? And how can architects develop these crucial skills? Hey there, fellow architects and aspiring designers. Today, I want to talk to you about the greatest skill that you need to be able to succeed in the world of architecture. And hint, it's not about how many rendering softwares or fancy awards you've won. Nope, the greatest skill you need to know as an architect is something much more fundamental, and it's very often overlooked. And in fact, it's a skill that can make or break your career as an architect. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to develop this skill using the power of essentialism. So buckle up, grab your sketchbook, and let's dive right in. Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Daniel, and I'm a licensed architect here in Bloomington, Indiana. And on this channel, we talk about architecture and design, and we explore various strategies and tools for us to be able to have a healthy and meaningful life and career in the creative industry. Now, there are many skill sets that are often required of an architect. And I would say that the key skills can actually be broken down into 8 general categories. And that would be technical skills, creativity, communication, attention to detail, teamwork, leadership, and business acumen. However, if I had to choose one, I would say it's the last one, and that is the ability to solve problems is the most critical skill that an architect must have. And the reason is because we as architects are responsible for designing safe, functional, and just aesthetically pleasing buildings. And to be able to do so involves a critical eye. And this leads me into talking about what is the importance of problem solving for architects. Now, problem solving is a critical skill for an architect to have a successful career, as it is fundamental in the entire design and construction process. Often, architects are faced with complex challenges and design problems that must be solved quickly. And this requires not only technical expertise, but the ability to think critically and just be able to consider multiple perspectives in order to come up with innovative ideas, often in a very short time. And the ability to think creatively, analyze situations, and just come up with innovative solutions, it is an essential skill for architects to be able to meet the needs of our clients, users, and just the general public of the spaces that we design. Additionally, we need to be able to identify major problems during the construction process that could end up becoming just a major hindrance to the project overall. And I can tell you that one of the most common errors that I've come across during the construction process is just the lack of coordination between design disciplines, which often results in extra coordination between the design and construction team, an impact on the construction schedule, and just an extra cost to the owners just due to the negligence and the lack of coordination. And another example that often occurs during renovations is the elusive hidden condition. Recently, I had a historic renovation project to where the contractor discovered an unknown pipe in the basement below the slab. And what ended up happening is there was a surplus of just extra water that was flooding the space. And the problem is that these pipes, there was no record of them in any of the archives. And this took a lot of coordination on all parties, from the design team, engineers, and the contractors themselves. And that was for us to be able to identify the problem and to be able to come up with cost-effective and efficient solutions to be able to handle this problem. In general, not having strong problem-solving abilities has major consequences, such as missed deadlines, cost overruns, and just design flaws that can affect the safety and functionality of the building. And in fact, a 2013 study in the Project Management Institute looked at the relationship between problem-solving ability and project success. And it found that individuals with stronger problem-solving skills are more likely to succeed in project management roles. And without our problem-solving abilities, we as architects would most likely struggle to create buildings that meet the project brief. And of course, our designs just wouldn't be practical nor sustainable. So now that we understand why this skill is critical for our professional tool belt, let's talk about how to develop your problem-solving skills using essentialism. So recently, I've been incorporating the philosophy of essentialism into my daily process, and it has been helping me to establish just a focused mindset in my busy professional life. Which is why we're going to be talking about how we can use the principles of essentialism to be able to develop our problem-solving skills just much more effectively. And here are 5 essentialism tips that we can apply to skyrocket our problem-solving abilities. Tip number 1, prioritize skill development. Essentialism teaches us to focus on the few things that are most important. As an architect, you should prioritize the development of your problem-solving skills by setting aside dedicated time each week just to focus on these areas. And I recommend starting by identifying a specific skill that you want to develop and just create a plan to work towards that. And I wouldn't worry about trying to tackle too much and just do a little bit each day just to start the process. For myself, I personally try to learn a new skill every day, at least during the weekdays. And I found that the morning period is the best time to do it before I get started into my day. And the reason I did this is I recently came across an article that talked about how some of the most successful leaders in the world attribute their success to constantly learning. Tip number 2, focus on the key principles. Architecture is a very vast field and there are too many things to tackle. So rather than trying to master every aspect of design, I would focus on key principles that are most relevant to either your current work or project and just work on developing that. For instance, whenever it comes to problem solving in the construction process, perhaps you could focus on just developing a certain area like a building envelope, and so that way you're able to identify and work through issues that may arise whenever you're out on the job site talking about those problems. And this will allow you to be able to just identify the root of issues much more and to be able to offer those innovative solutions in a quick manner because you've already been studying up on other solutions that have been happening from others. For instance, when I was working on a multifamily project in Northwest Arkansas, I needed to learn about various waterproofing techniques because we were challenging the convention out there, and I needed to make sure I brushed up and knew what we were proposing and how it worked to be able to convince the contractor who was going to be installing this. Additionally, our firm had issues on previous projects because contractors hadn't properly understood it. So I needed to be able to be familiar, so then that way when I was on a job site, I was able to identify to make sure that the installation was being installed as we actually had intended. And overall, by focusing on this potential concern, I was able to prevent this issue, and it ended up resulting in a successful project and we had a happy client. Tip number 3, learn from the best. Look for mentors and colleagues who just have strong problem-solving skills and learn from their example. Be sure to ask them for advice. Just observe how they approach problems and just the manner in which they communicate with others. When in doubt, ask them for advice. Often this is why I think the idea of job shadowing or even a mentorship apprentice type of situation, it's something that we no longer have as often as we did in the past, but I do think it's critical for us to be able to teach the next generation of the ways that we have done it and just to give them our lessons learned, so then that way they're able to avoid these issues on their own. So try to go out there and just learn to see how others communicate and work through problems and just emulate what they do and incorporate it into your own pattern. And I can tell you that I had wonderful mentors when I came out into the professional world, and when I had a question, I definitely asked them when I didn't know something rather than just making an assumption and creating some kind of problem on the project. And now I have that knowledge, which I'm able to then pass on to the next person when they have a question. Tip number 4, practice, practice, practice. Look for opportunities to practice your skills in your daily work, such as leading project meetings, collaborating with team members, and just presenting design concepts to clients. Then I'd recommend just set time aside each week just to be able to reflect on your experiences, and that way you're able to identify where you can improve. And I find that either at the end of the day or the end of the week is just a good time to be able to do this reflection. And the reason is we're often very busy and just hit with lots of tasks at the beginning of the week. So typically by the end, things just happen to be much more chill, and it's a good time to be able to reflect. Tip number 5, eliminate distractions. Now, essentialism teaches us to eliminate the non-essential to be able to focus on what truly matters. And to develop your problem-solving skills and communication overall, I'd say it's important to eliminate distractions that can just interfere with focus and productivity. And this may involve setting boundaries around your time, minimizing interruptions, and just avoiding multitasking. And one of the most critical things that freed up time in my life was just turning off all the notifications, whether on my smart devices and my computers. This allowed me to just focus on the task at hand and just keep the distractions at bay. So by applying these essentialism tips, you can develop your problem-solving skills, leading to innovative designs, satisfied clients, and just a successful career. Remember, as an architect, you have the ability to design structures that are going to stand the test of time. So prioritize your skills, focus on the key principles, learn from the best, practice, and eliminate distractions. And thanks for watching, my fellow architects and design enthusiasts. I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. And remember, it's not about the fancy software, the greatest skill that you need to know as an architect. It's about the ability to be able to solve problems, as it's the key to being able to unlock your full potential, so then that way you can have success in your creative career. And keep in mind, by applying the principles of essentialism to your process, you can develop skills much more effectively and efficiently than ever before. So don't be afraid to tackle complex problems and just challenging projects. Embrace the power of problem solving, and when in doubt, use the power of essentialism to be able to be your guide as you embark on your journey. And as always, I invite you to share your thoughts, comments, and experiences in the comments below. And let's keep the conversation going so we can help each other be the best architects and designers that we can be. And until next time, keep designing, keep creating, and practice, practice, practice. And please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notifications if you want to hear more content like this. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!